My wife said she needed space and started taking solo weekend trips, but a reflection in a stranger's video showed the truth. She was with our neighbor, and I was the last to know. That's not your hand. That's all the text said. No explanation. No context. Just that sentence from a coworker I barely talked to outside of lunch breaks. I didn't even understand what it meant until I opened the video he'd sent with it. It was a clip from a fishing trip he took last weekend, some casual pan of the lake while his buddies cracked beers and talked trash. Just a throwaway video. But as the camera swung left, I saw a reflection in the water that stopped me cold. My wife. She was standing at the edge of the dock in the background, clear as day, wearing the faded blue hoodie I'd folded into her bag that Friday morning. Her hair was up the way she always wears it when she's traveling. And she was smiling, laughing even. But she wasn't alone. Mike was with her. Mike from 3 doors down. Widowed 6 months ago. My buddy, or at least I thought he was. He was standing too close, holding her hand. And not in a comforting, thanks for being here way. His fingers were laced with hers. Intimate. Quietly, unmistakably intimate. I watched it twice before I remembered to breathe. Then 3 more times just to be sure I wasn't losing my mind. Because for the last 4 weekends, she'd been telling me she was going away to clear her head. She needed space, she said. And like a damn idiot, I believed her. I even packed her bags. Slid snacks into the side pocket. Kissed her on the forehead like some clueless sitcom husband. All this time, she wasn't off finding herself. She was just sneaking 2 towns over with our neighbor. It's strange how betrayal doesn't hit all at once. It seeps in through your skin like cold water, gradual, chilling, undeniable. I just stood there in the kitchen, staring at my phone, her half-drunk coffee still warm on the counter beside me. And I thought, what the hell do I do now? I didn't confront her. Not right away. I couldn't. When she walked through the door that evening, hair wind-tangled and cheeks pink from the cool air, I felt like I was watching a stranger wear my wife's skin. She tossed her weekend bag onto the couch and kicked off her boots like it was just another Sunday. Miss me, she grinned. I managed a nod. My mouth wouldn't cooperate. I wasn't sure if I was going to scream, cry, or throw up. She kissed me on the cheek. Her lips were cold. I'm exhausted, she mumbled, stretching. That yoga retreat was brutal. All silent meditation and chickpeas. Yoga retreat. Chickpeas. I wanted to ask her how that lake water tasted. I wanted to ask if Mike held her hand the same way when they kissed or if that was just for reflections. But I didn't. I stood there and watched her walk past me into the shower. Because part of me needed a plan. Not just answers. Something deliberate. I didn't want an argument. I wanted the truth stripped and ugly and undeniable. I waited until I heard the water running and then picked up her phone from the coffee table. It used to be unlocked. Always. Until last week. New passcode. It asked for Face ID, but she disabled that too. Of course she had. That should have been the first red flag. But I told myself it was about privacy or boundaries. The kind of stuff healthy couples talk about when they think they're being enlightened. Turns out privacy was just another word for secrecy. For cover. I put her phone down slowly. Like it might burn me. And then I looked at my reflection in the black screen, tired eyes, clenched jaw, a man trying to keep from breaking. She finished her shower and came out in pajamas, towel drying her hair like nothing had changed. I asked how it was. She told me the air smelled like eucalyptus and enlightenment. I nodded. Said I was happy for her. I didn't sleep that night. I just kept hearing her voice in my head saying I need space. And Mike's hand in hers at the edge of a lake I've never been to. Monday morning, I watched her make coffee like always, 2 sugars, no cream. Same sleepy shuffle across the kitchen, same little yawn when she leaned against the counter scrolling through her phone. Only now I knew that screen held a whole other life. One she'd locked me out of. Heading into work? I asked, trying to sound casual. She nodded. Early meeting. I'll be home late, might grab dinner with the girls. I gave a quiet cool and sipped my coffee. It tasted like lies. When she left, I didn't follow her. I followed Mike. His truck pulled out of the driveway around 8:10. I tailed him like some amateur PI, half hoping I'd be wrong. That he'd head to work or a hardware store or literally anywhere else. But no. He drove to a little cafe out near the highway. And 20 minutes later, she showed up. She parked 2 spaces away and didn't even bother looking around. Just walked straight in and sat across from him like it was routine. Like this was their Monday morning tradition. They laughed. He touched her hand. She leaned in like she belonged there. I sat in my car, engine off, wondering how I could be this close to them and still feel like I was drowning. I didn't confront them. I didn't storm in and demand answers. I just watched. Because in that moment, I realized something awful. I wasn't ready for the truth. I wasn't ready to hear her say it's been going on for months. I wasn't ready to find out how deep the lies went. I wasn't ready to ask, was it me? Did I push you away? Because I already knew those weren't the right questions. The real question came later, in the silence of my living room, staring at a framed photo of us from last summer, smiling on our porch like the world was simple and clean. What do I do with this now? I didn't go home that night. I told her I had a work thing. Some late meeting I forgot to put on the calendar. She didn't ask questions. Just texted me, "Don't forget to eat." That part stung. Like muscle memory kindness from someone who'd already left you emotionally. I drove out to the edge of town and sat in the parking lot of a closed diner, watching moths slam into the buzzing yellow sign. I should have been angry, furious, but all I felt was hollow, like she'd scooped something out of me and never planned to return it. We built a life. Weekend projects, inside jokes, matching mugs. Her old hoodie in my drawer, my spare socks in her car. All those tiny, quiet threads that tie a couple together. And now, every one of them felt like a wire pulled tight, ready to snap. When I finally came home, she was asleep on the couch, Netflix still playing something half-muted. I watched her for a second, curled up like nothing had changed. Maybe for her, nothing had. I stood there, wondering how many nights she'd gone to him before coming home to me. Did she kiss him and then come lie beside me like it meant nothing? Did she ever pause and think, this will destroy him? The worst part? I still loved her. Or at least the version of her that existed in my head. The next morning, I opened her bag while she was in the shower. I wasn't even trying to snoop. I just needed something, anything, to explain how we got here. There wasn't much inside. A receipt from a gas station 2 towns over. Lip balm. A folded-up wrapper from some protein bar. And then I saw it. A second phone. Tucked in the side pocket. Older model, scratched screen, no case. Burner. That's when my stomach dropped. This wasn't some emotional mistake or a midlife confusion. This was planned. Hidden. Maintained. Calculated. I put everything back. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because now I had a new question clawing at my brain. How long has she been getting ready to leave? The next few days were a blur of pretending. I kissed her goodbye in the mornings. I made her tea when she got headaches. I even offered to pick up groceries just so I could spend time alone in the car, thinking. Every time I looked at her, I wondered which version of her I was seeing. The one who used to send me dumb memes at 2 a.m., or the one sneaking texts on a second phone I wasn't supposed to know existed. I started paying attention to things I used to overlook. Like how she always showered the second she got home from these retreats. Or how she smiled more at her phone than at me. How she never quite looked me in the eye when she said, "I love you lately." She said it like it was a routine. Part of brushing her teeth or locking the front door. Thoughtless. Then came Friday. She said she was leaving early for her next solo getaway, heading out straight from work. I offered to pack her a bag. She hesitated. "It's already packed," she said quickly. "Just the basics." I nodded. But I already knew what I was going to do. That night, I waited until I saw her taillights disappear down the block. Then I got in my car and followed her. Not closely, just enough to keep her in view. She hit the highway, then the back roads, then pulled into a cheap motel behind a gas station about 40 minutes out. Mike's truck was already there. I didn't go inside. Didn't need to. I sat across the street in the parking lot of a closed laundromat and watched the light in their room click on. And I realized something that made my chest ache worse than anything else. She never even tried to hide it. Not really. She just counted on me never looking. That night I didn't sleep. Just sat there in my car watching shadows move behind the curtains and wondering when exactly I became a stranger in my own marriage. And more importantly, what the hell am I going to do with this? Sunday morning, I cooked breakfast. I made her favorite eggs over easy, avocado toast, those little hash browns she likes extra crispy. I set the table, put on her favorite playlist. Every motion felt robotic, like I was acting in someone else's life. She walked in wearing his hoodie, not mine, his. I recognized it instantly. Faded green with a frayed cuff. I'd seen him wear it on garbage days, walking his dog. Now it was wrapped around her like a second skin. "Where'd you get that?" I asked, pretending to smile. She paused. "Thrift store," she said quickly, already reaching for a plate. I laughed. Just once. A short, flat sound. She didn't notice. We ate in silence. Her scrolling. Me chewing. I don't even remember tasting anything. I just kept thinking about how this was the same table where we'd once talked about baby names. Where she told me I made her feel safe. Now she was sitting across from me, her mouth full of toast. And all I could see was the motel window's flickering light. Later that day, I found the second phone again. This time in her coat pocket, buzzing softly while she was folding laundry. I took it outside and sat on the back steps. No password. Just messages. Dozens of them. Some were innocent enough, jokes, links, little thinking about you notes. But others, I'll never forget one thread in particular. She'd sent Mike a picture of a cabin in the mountains. "Maybe next time we just go. Don't come back." And he replied, "You say when." I didn't throw the phone. I didn't scream. I just sat there with it in my hand, wondering how long they'd been planning the end of my life without me. Then I did something I didn't expect. I put the phone back, because suddenly I didn't want to fight. I didn't want an explanation. I wanted leverage, truth, clarity. If she was going to set fire to our life, I was going to make sure she didn't get to walk away clean. I stopped reacting. That was the first real decision I made. No more questions. No more searching for signs. I let her think I didn't know a thing, because people get sloppy when they feel safe. So when she said she was going to her sister's the next weekend, I just nodded. "Have fun," I told her. "Text me when you get there." She kissed me goodbye. Same routine, like clockwork. But I already had a plan. That morning I called in sick, packed a bag, grabbed the spare keys to her car, and drove out to that same motel. Parked 2 rows behind her usual spot and waited. Mike showed up around 11. Same hoodie, same smug look. She arrived 15 minutes later. Laughed when she saw him. They kissed in the parking lot. I took pictures. It felt awful, wrong, even to document the wreckage of my marriage. But it also felt like armor. Proof. Because no matter how hard she might spin it later, there'd be no, it was just emotional. No, you misunderstood. I had receipts. I didn't approach them. I didn't confront her that night. I waited until the next day, when she came home all soft smiles and detox tea. That's when I laid it all out. Photos, screenshots, even the motel receipts I found in her email. She didn't deny it. Didn't cry. Just went pale and sat down like her legs gave out. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered. "They never do," I said. I thought I'd feel victorious, strong, in control. Instead, I just felt empty. She asked if we could talk. I said sure, tomorrow. I needed space, I told her. Her own words thrown right back at her. That night, I slept in the guest room and stared at the ceiling until morning, heart racing with one thought pounding like a drumbeat. What comes next? She made pancakes the next morning. That's how I knew she was scared. She only cooks when she wants something. Birthday mornings, post-fight peace offerings. Never just because. I sat at the table, the smell of syrup thick in the air, and waited for her to speak first. She didn't, so I did. "I'm filing." She flinched, spatula hovering over the pan. "Can we talk about this first?" I didn't look at her, just stirred my coffee and said, "Talked enough." Then she tried a new angle. "It didn't mean anything." I laughed. Couldn't help it. "You planned trips with him. Had a second phone. It meant something." She set the plate down in front of me and sat across the table, fingers clasped, trying to hold herself together. "He lost his wife. I was just trying to be there for him at first. And I got lost. I didn't know how to come back. That almost worked. Almost. If she hadn't already packed a bag to go be lost with him again the next weekend. I could forgive the mistake," I said slowly. "But not the choice." She went quiet. Then she said something that cracked the whole facade. "What if I stayed? Gave it all up? Him, the trips, the phone. We start over." I looked at her. Really looked at her. for the first time in weeks. And I realized something. She still hadn't apologized. She wasn't sorry it happened. She was sorry she got caught. I pushed my plate away. You're not offering to stay for me. You're trying to stay for you. So you don't have to face what's on the other side of this. Her silence confirmed it. I got up, grabbed my keys and said, I'll be back tomorrow. Pack what you need by then. Her voice cracked behind me. You're really ending it? I turned to the door. No. You ended it the second you let him hold your hand at that lake. She was gone when I came back the next evening. No note, no text, just an empty closet and a coffee cup left in the sink, the one with the little chip on the rim she always used. I stared at it for a long time. I don't know what I expected. Some final confrontation? A goodbye? Maybe a fight just to prove the love meant something once. But there was nothing, just silence. I walked through the house, room by room, feeling how different the air was now. Lighter, quieter, and somehow still heavier in my chest. I sat on the edge of the bed, the one we used to share, and noticed something tucked under my pillow. The second phone, wiped clean, factory reset. I turned it over in my hands, half expecting it to buzz, like a ghost still haunting the circuitry. But it was silent, dead. That night I didn't cry, I didn't rage. I just lay there and listened to the stillness. And in that stillness, I found it. Not peace, not yet, but clarity. She was never coming back. And honestly, the version of her I loved probably hadn't been around for a while anyway. I got up the next morning, made coffee for one, and sat on the porch while the sun cracked open the sky. My phone buzzed. A friend had tagged me in a photo from a camping trip last fall. Me, laughing, beer in hand, unaware that a year later I'd be rebuilding my life from the ground up. I stared at that version of myself for a long time. And for the first time since all this started, I whispered out loud, "You're gonna be okay." Because I knew now, the worst part wasn't that she left. It's that she made me believe she ever really stayed. Update. 6 months later. The house feels different now. Not just emptier, cleaner. Like someone opened a window and let the poison out. I changed the locks the week after she left. Sold the bed. Repainted the kitchen cabinets. Not because I needed to, but because I couldn't stand the way the drawer still stuck the way she liked it. Funny, the things that hold memories. The divorce was quick. She didn't fight me on much. I think she wanted out just as badly by then. Like her affair had been a way of prying the door open and now we were both just stepping through it. Mike moved away. I heard he got a job a few states over. My neighbor says they broke up. Apparently she didn't take it well. I haven't seen her since she left. Not in person. But she did send me one email 2 months ago. Just 5 words. "Do you ever miss me?" I didn't reply, because the truth is I do sometimes. But not her. Not who she became. I missed the idea of her. The version I thought I had. The quiet evenings. The in-jokes. The feeling that someone was always waiting for me at home. But when I really sit with it, I know this life, this new stillness is better. It's not exciting or dramatic. It doesn't rush. It just breathes. I've started hiking again. Something I stopped doing years ago. Met a woman at a trailhead last week. Nothing serious. Just conversation and shared granola bars. But it felt real. Like maybe I'm starting to become someone worth being again. So no, she doesn't get to be a chapter 1 reread. She's a footnote. And I'm already halfway through writing the next story.